Do you ever feel like you're not good enough? Like there's something wrong with you? Some flaw you wish you could hide from the world? Maybe you've been told you're too sensitive, too loud, too quiet, or that you have a weakness you can't overcome. If you've ever felt this way, I want you to listen closely, because what I'm about to share could change how you see yourself forever. This isn't just another story. It's a mirror that will reflect your own hidden strength. It's the story of a blind boy, a lonely rose, and the incredible power found in our so-called imperfections. Imagine a young boy, born without sight. His world was a tapestry of sounds, smells, and textures, but it was also a world of shadows, filled with the cruel laughter of other children. They called him names, tripped him as he walked, and mocked him for being different. Each taunt was like a stone, weighing down his heart until he felt he could barely breathe. One afternoon, overwhelmed by sadness, he ran away to the one place he felt safe, a quiet spot by the river. The gentle rush of the water usually calmed him, but today it sounded like it was weeping with him. He sat there, his small shoulders shaking, feeling completely worthless. He thought, why me? Why was I born this way? He felt broken, a mistake. As he buried his face in his hands, a memory floated into his mind, as soft and clear as his father's voice. He remembered a story his father used to tell him, a story about a very special rose. In a magnificent garden, filled with perfect tulips, radiant sunflowers, and elegant lily, there grew a single rose. It was a beautiful rose, with petals the color of a sunset, soft and velvety to the touch. But this rose had a problem. It was covered in sharp thorns. All the other flowers in the garden looked down on it. "Look at those ugly thorns," the tulips would whisper. "Stay away from her, she's dangerous," the lily would warn. The rose heard their words and felt a deep shame. It tried to hide its thorns, curling its leaves to cover them, but it was no use. The thorns were a part of it. The rose began to believe what the others said, that it was flawed and unworthy. It wished it could shed its thorns and be perfect like the rest. But the gardener, a wise old man, saw things differently. He would often come to the rose, gently touch its leaves, and speak to it. "Little rose," he'd say, "don't be ashamed of your thorns. They are not a flaw. They are your strength." The rose didn't understand. How could these sharp, ugly things be a strength? One sunny afternoon, a herd of goats broke through the garden fence. They charged in, hungry and destructive. They trampled the tulips, devoured the sunflowers, and chewed the lily down to their roots. The garden was in chaos. The flowers screamed in terror as the goats destroyed everything in their path. The goats then turned their hungry eyes toward the rose. They rushed forward, ready to devour it, but as they got close, they were pricked by its sharp thorns. "Ouch!" they cried, backing away. They tried again from another side, but again, the thorns protected the rose. The goats, defeated and sore, finally gave up and left the garden. The rose stood tall, completely untouched. All the other flowers were ruined, but the rose, with its thorns, was safe. It finally understood what the gardener meant. Its greatest perceived weakness was, in fact, its greatest protection, its greatest strength. Sitting by the river, the blind boy remembered this story, and for the first time, he understood its true meaning. His father wasn't just telling him a story about a flower. He was telling him a story about himself. The boy thought about his blindness. Yes, it meant he couldn't see the world like others. It meant he was teased and bullied. These were his thorns, but his blindness had also given him incredible gifts. He could hear the quietest whisper in the wind. He could feel the slightest change in the air, telling him when rain was coming. His sense of touch was so fine that he could read the stories in the bark of a tree. He could recognize people just by the sound of their footsteps. His world wasn't empty. It was filled with a richness that others, with their sight, completely missed. His flaw had given him a different kind of vision, a deeper way of experiencing the world. It was his unique strength. A new feeling began to bloom in his chest, pushing away the sadness. It was hope. It was acceptance. He stood up, no longer feeling like a victim. His blindness wasn't a curse. It was part of who he was, and it made him special. The next day at school, when the children started their usual teasing, something inside him had changed. He didn't shrink away in shame. He stood tall. When a boy mockingly asked him, "What are you looking at, blind boy?" he smiled gently and said, "I'm listening to the birds build a nest in that tree. Can you hear it?" The boy was stunned into silence. He couldn't hear it. From that day on, things started to shift. The boy began to share his unique world with others. He taught them how to identify different trees by the feel of their bark. He showed them how to listen for the subtle sounds of nature they had never noticed before. The other children, who once saw him as weak and different, began to see him as fascinating and wise. His thorns had not only protected him, but they had also become a gift he could share with the world. He was no longer the broken, blind boy. He was the boy who could see with his ears and his hands. He was complete. This story isn't just about a boy or a rose. It's about you. What are the thorns you're trying to hide? Is it a past mistake you can't forgive yourself for? A physical feature you dislike? Is it a sensitivity that makes you feel too vulnerable? We all have them. We live in a world that pressures us to be perfect, to fit into a certain mold. But the truth is, our imperfections, our struggles, our thorns are what make us who we are. They are the source of our deepest strengths, our greatest compassion, and our unique purpose. Your scars tell a story of survival. Your sensitivity might be the source of incredible empathy. That failure you are so ashamed of might have taught you a lesson that will lead to your greatest success. Don't be ashamed of your thorns. They are not a sign of weakness. They are a sign of a life that has been lived, a battle that has been fought. They are your protection, your character, your strength. They make you, and you, exactly as you are more than enough. You are not broken. You are beautifully and powerfully unique. Embrace your thorns. They are the reason you will survive the goats in your own life and bloom in a way no one else can. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please share it with someone who might need to hear it. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that inspire and empower. See you next time. Bye.